What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Dad's Corner. This is the place for all the leaders, the fathers,
followers, everybody in between. This week, incredible episode. We've got a guest joining us, Derrick Corso. He's going to walk us through some tough things about mental health with fathers, parenthood, marriage, everything in between. You do not want to miss this episode.
The merch store is up. Go get you some merch.
Yep. Episode 11. This is exciting. Not only are we in double digits, but now we're on the other side. We're going down. And today is awesome. We've got one of my best friends in the whole world, Derrick Corso, joining us. Thanks for being here, buddy. Today's gonna be incredible. But let's start off real quick. What's up with the ring?
Well, this is my wedding ring.
Not that one. I'm talking about the big old one on the other hand.
This ring. So this is my GMC Mark of Excellence ring.
Oh.
Yeah.
They don't give that to anybody.
They don't. I mean, you got to be somebody. You got to know some things.
I got you.
To get this ring. You got to help some people.
Sell like a certain, like you got to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 150 sold in a year, in a calendar year, of new GMCs or Buicks. So
you really got them keys.
I really do got them keys, bro.
Yeah.
I really do got them keys.
Yeah. So, Corso, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
We've, we go back, we were just counting it up. We go back 15-ish years. So
probably to the day.
A lot of, pretty close. Won't really go back into how we met. Or who introduced us.
Gonna need a cocktail for that story.
The rabbit hole runs deep.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. But man, I had the blessing of, I got to marry him and his wife, so I was the one that got to officiate.
That's fire.
Yeah.
So it was Corso. That's really cool.
So he was one of the ones. It was in Texas, and it was 3 years ago.
We're coming up on 3.
That's
3
crazy.
years, November, coming up quick.
Wild.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, because Casey and I will be 11 this year. So that's awesome.
And you need to run a business and start doing that full time, because you did such a good job that people still talk about it to this day.
Yeah.
Well, people calling him for it.
I got one in January.
There's a reason.
I haven't done one since y'all's, and I got one in January. So, it was. I had one before y'all, and then I had yours, and then I also gave a speech at the reception.
People still talk about that too.
Yeah.
See, people don't do
I
that.
had like one-liners. I had it was almost like I was up there almost doing a skit. Like I was almost doing a comedy routine.
People don't do that, Jason. You know, that's above and beyond the call of duty.
Well, here's the thing is, and I said this during my speech, my family single-handedly could have derailed that wedding. So Cope was the ring bearer.
Oh gosh.
I was officiating. I had a speech at the reception. So I mean,
at any point in time, if you wanted it to go left, you could have just hard left. Right?
I just wink at Case and it's over. Yeah, Cope takes off with the ring. I forget their names. I pass out up there because his wife was like, "Look, as soon as the only direction she gave me, she said, as soon as you say I pronounce you," she was like, "You got to get
out
of
the
the
way.
shot," because they had this, and it was kind of overlooking like not a valley, but kind of like on the hill, like a top.
Yeah.
And so it was like as soon as you say that the camera person was at the very end of the aisle, and like they were ready, but they didn't want
you could have.
they didn't want me.
Just been like, I'm not moving.
Yeah. After I said it, just been like,
strike a pose.
what was that? Like ruined the whole thing. So, and it was so bad that she didn't trust me. Like her maid of honor, as I'm saying it, is already like reaching her arm out to grab me, and I was like, "Get out of here! Now this I'm not a child. This is my time too. Okay, like this is my wedding. All right." So, but yeah, it was awesome, and a lot of people, a lot of fun. He was the last of the friend group to
last.
tie the, he was
bringing
the
up
last
the caboose.
No, that's dope, man. We all have to like grow up, you know, and I feel like that's just a natural part of becoming the best version of like who you really can be is whenever you cross that path, that threshold right there. So, Corso, you're a baseball head too.
I
right?
am, through and through. Bleed Cubby Blue. I joke that I'm just, grew up a loser. Cubs fan, Blackhawks fan, Bears fan.
Wow.
Grew up in the 90s with the Bulls, but I just don't really follow basketball anymore, so I can't take credit for that. But, yeah, played baseball through college, Central Arkansas, right down the road, and, love
What
it.
position you play?
Well, that's a long story. But
That is for
third,
another
first,
podcast.
left field, right field, DH, pitcher.
Utility.
I just try to do it all.
Utility. Could you hit?
I never got to see him play, but I've heard so many stories that I feel like I did.
Like good stories? Like war stories?
Oh, like funny stories. Like, because the coach, which we won't go into details, the coach was kind of just a character.
Yeah.
Is a good way to put it.
It made for great stories.
Yeah. So,
for
like,
the rest of
practices were
life.
sometimes not even, it was like, we're going to do crazy stuff. And, like, I think the one, it was something like, I want you to hit it, pull the pitch or something like that. But you were, like, still, you're going away. Or it was something like that. And it was like, he just kept making him do it, kept making him do it, kept making him. To the story that they're like, he sat there and hit for so long. But it was like, I'm hitting a home run. And the coach would be like, no, we want base hits or something like that.
Yes. I was forced to take batting practice with the exercise ball, the ab ball, between my legs, damn near sitting on it. Because my coach wanted to basically take my lower half away because he didn't like the fact I hit for power. And so if I hit home runs in BP, I was scratched from the lineup multiple times. Pulled from a game where I hit 2 home runs. And so
Which is very common. You normally, like Shohei, he will not play today after that 3 home run performance.
I mean, that is crazy. Like, you have to know your personnel. Take inventory of your people. And if you're a bomb hitter, like, let's put you in a bomb position. I don't know. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, that's basically arguing religion at this point. The types of hitting and putting together a lineup and all the stories. But yeah, it was hilarious because he did that, and I was still hitting home runs off the exercise ball. And that's still a story to this day that makes people just crack up because
That's crazy.
It was a vindictive, like he was intentionally trying to make me stop doing that and hit the ball on the ground. Said no.
So you played ball at the next level too, right? You played college ball?
Nope.
Or he played college.
Yeah, I played
college.
Played college, 2 years at JUCO, and then finished up here at UCA. Got to play against Paul Goldschmidt, Wade Miley, who's still in the big leagues. We had a really good run there for a while.
You and Paul kind of have the same career. I mean, you're the.
Oh,
he's just an average big leaguer. You know what I mean?
perennial MVP year in, year out. And I will tell you this, he looked like Paul Bunyan as a freshman walking off the bus. All
Big
of us
dude.
were like, who is this guy?
He didn't get smaller.
No.
He still looks like that.
Bro, we probably need to do, I don't know, you're not so into baseball, but a baseball
He can be.
on the Dad's Sportcast. We need to get into some baseball. Bring Corso along with us.
It's the best time of year for that.
Put
Playoff baseball.
Corso and Wood on there. Let them, because they played together. Our other kind of like one of our other close best friends, and they played together. Witt got drafted.
He got offered by the Dodgers our summer between junior and senior year to go pro, and elected to come back to school and finish out his senior year. Yeah.
That's cool. So we like text back and forth a little bit, but this is our first time having a conversation. First time really
great to meet
getting
you.
to connect, and I'm excited to.
I know
to
a lot of
build
cool
with you.
people.
You do know a lot of.
I mean, I know a
people,
lot of
bro.
cool people.
You know
I'm just
a lot
trying
of
to put it
cool people.
together.
It's that.
I didn't know we were going to talk about baseball so much.
I mean, you
Which is a
have
great
me in the room, it's bound
Great
to happen.
sport, and I didn't know until the last few episodes. I didn't realize how big
Like,
baseball was to you. Like it's not like a pastime. I mean, you had family that played pro,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. My uncle played for the Royals when they won their World Series.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to know what's really funny?
What's up?
Whenever I told him your name, I told Corso your name, and I said,
No, we're gonna go there.
I said his dad played. Your dad played pro too, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, his uncle did, and he goes, Ron Washington. Is he? And I was like, man, I'm gonna be honest. If Ron Washington was his dad, I don't think he'd be doing the podcast
I
with
don't
me.
know
You know,
that
I don't know that we'd be sitting here together. I don't know if you'd be in Springdale.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so y'all definitely got the baseball ties together, which is crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, it's just good to meet good people who wear awesome dad hats. Like, I love that. I actually have an awesome dad hat on too.
So do I.
Shameless plug right here. So, no,
website's up. People are already buying it. People are already buying the hats. We got hats, shirts, more shirts coming. Yeah, people are already buying it. So,
thedadscorner.com/merch.
Can I ask a bad question? Well, how do you know which one's / and which one's /?
I ask myself this every time.
Because when people are like, I'm like, which one it?
I was preparing to even say that right there to the camera, and I had the question, like, is this a / or is this a /? Do I need to say / on a / or can I just say /? If the other one's back, then obviously the other one's forward.
But how do you know which one is which?
I don't know.
Is it if the top is leaning forward and if the top is leaning back?
See, but on yours but that's what a / is. That's why I'm always confused.
So the top is leaning back. It's like lean back, like it's right.
I'll never forget it now.
I will never forget it.
It's just like how to spell beautiful because of Ace Ventura. BEA, like I'll never forget.
Beautiful.
I'll never forget it because of that reason. I still in my head spell it just like he's saying it every time. So, well, man, we're glad to have you on. This was an important episode for me, and we've talked about this. The main reason that we got into the podcast and wanted to do this was for this very reason, to maybe help dads who are out there who are going through things and they think they're by themselves. Whether every episode is deep is not really kind of our mission, but this one's going to be awesome. This one's going to be very deep. It's going to get personal for you, but it's also going to be, I think, helpful for so many guys who are going through things that either A, they don't talk about, or B, they think they're the only ones that are going through it. So we appreciate you being on, man. If you don't mind, just give, especially all the listeners who don't know you. I know you well. I feel like I know
too well.
Everything.
Might as well be blood at this
exactly.
point.
The only thing I probably don't know is your blood type. But I got that one that you can give to anybody. So if something happens to either one of y'all,
oh, you got that O?
Mm-hmm. Is it positive or negative?
It's just O.
Oh. Okay.
Mine's IB. IB positive.
And now they know everything about each other.
IB positive, you're not putting me in no damn
it, guys.
needle.
I appreciate it, yeah. So, but yeah, give us just kind of a little background about getting married and having kids and just kind of where you're at and how many you have. And
yeah, wife's name's Haley. We got 2 girls, 2 under 2. Oldest will be,
they're 16 months apart-ish?
Yes.
So
oldest will be 2 next week, and youngest will be 9 months next week as well. So, yeah, life moves very fast.
Still at that age, given the months.
Yeah.
Still where you got to get, people want to know the months.
How long does that go for? Just random question.
I think at 24 months.
Yeah. Because then at that point, people are like, just say.
It still feels weird.
Kobe.
24 months.
Yeah.
Like 23
that's why.
months.
That's why. Because you got people like that doing the Kobe thing. You got to keep doing
it. How many months is how old is your child? Kobe.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's 24 months because that's when we stopped saying months and we're like, man, they're going to be 2. And then after that, you don't want to be the person saying 25. And honestly, I think it's because people can't count it. It takes too long.
I think that it's the development. Like, there's different developments at 2 months.
True.
And 10 months.
And there's milestones.
And milestones at those. Like, you know, the teeth coming in, crawling, we're walking now, we're doing these things.
Yeah, but if you're 2 years and 3 months, you don't want to be like, okay, that's 24, 25. You don't want to have to do that every time. So that's kind of where it stops.
Absolutely.
But a lot of math.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to let you continue, but I'm
not going to let you.
I heard something not long ago that was saying, because I have 4 children, and we've got a big spread on our children, like 5 years in between all of them, pretty much. 5, 6, 7 on the last one. But kids that are born like that with that spread are like only childs within the same household because they don't really So it's really cool to have two that are right there because they will be into the same type of things about the same time. And, you know,
that's kind of where we're at, too.
The only downside is you got to buy a car. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't got to. They can ride bikes.
They're going to have to share it.
They can ride bikes.
They can share.
They can share.
Cole better get ready. He's driving sis everywhere. But yours will end up being best friends. Now, they'll fight.
I hope so.
They will fight. I mean, ours fight, but you can't separate them. So, which is really cool. And the thing is, I'm worried about is if we have another one, they're gonna probably bully that one.
No, they're gonna love them.
Team up.
They got to like hey y'all.
I mean, because that's gonna be the baby.
Oh,
and I don't know.
They become the front lines.
God, what if we had twins?
Oh, you just spoke it into existence.
Okay, I derailed this. I'm sorry. All right. Corso.
So, anyways, your IB
IB positive. You're not poking me with no damn needle.
Yeah.
No, I have 2 girls under 2. Life moves fast. We got married. Actually, the timeline moves quick. We got
so fast.
Yeah, we got engaged. COVID 2020, up in the Red Rocks area in Colorado. Year later, get married. You had, like you said, you had the duties of marrying us. Yeah. And then we go on our honeymoon and come back with a souvenir. We found out not shortly after we returned that we were pregnant. And
as honeymoons will go sometimes.
You know, it was one of those things where the honeymoon happens and yeah.
Well, and we joked about this beforehand, and I just want to reiterate, my family could have completely destroyed this wedding. Okay, so my son's the ring bearer. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong. What if he puts it in his mouth and swallows one of the rings? Hopefully it's his, not Haley's. Because that you don't want to. There's a lot of difference in price on those two. Then I'm the one that's officiating. So
it all depends on you.
I could have just not done it. And then they legally wouldn't have been married. And then I gave a speech at the reception. Oh, yeah. Well, and her family, so he's not going to say this, but I'm going to say it. Her family, may or may not be in the mafia. They may have mob ties. They're Italian. Italian, just straight Italian, right?
Let me ask you this.
Mostly.
Were there favors being asked at the wedding?
All I know is there were deals being done. There were a lot of cargo trucks. There were a lot of envelopes? Well, there was a lot of cargo trucks at the wedding. We were doing shipments and we had to stop, come to their wedding. We got to go finish that shipment, though. I heard that a lot. Wow. We got to finish the shipment. All right. I don't know what that means. I asked one time and the grandma looked at me and said, "Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am." So, but it was an awesome wedding. But it was, I told it at the reception. I said, man, between this speech, the officiating, Coke, I was like, we could derail this whole thing as a family. So it was a lot of pressure. Son had on his first cowboy boots that day. It was great.
That's fire.
So awesome.
But y'all did great. Y'all came through, and we're still here today.
I did get bullied while I was up there though by his wife.
Well, that's not hard.
I'm not gonna. It is not hard. She's kind of one of those that when she looks at you, you're like, oh, all right. You kind of
she'll keep you in check.
Yeah. So she said, when you say I pronounce you, I need you to get out of the way because there's gonna be that first picture, right? And so I was literally trying to get out of the way, and I mean her bridesmaids are pulling me. I'm like, I know how to step out of the way. I'm not a child. I'll get out of the way, but it was they're like, he's not gonna get out of the way. Get him off that stage right now. So I did, but I don't appreciate y'all pushing me. I'm a grown man.
If there's anything I've learned, you don't come between a woman and her wedding.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, it's our wedding, but let's be honest, it's their wedding. It's her wedding. It's a big deal, and if you get in the way, you better watch.
It's a big deal. Out. Weddings are such a big deal, but I don't know. Can I get into it?
I don't care. Yeah.
Can I
Go
do
ahead.
this?
Here we go.
Do you feel like most men would be cool with just we're married now? Or do we like the big show too? If we
I think the men care more about the reception.
Yeah. Facts.
Okay.
And food.
So I would have been cool with us, the pastor who married us, I would have been okay with us two, our family, close family, going in there and it being just to be like in front of God and being legal.
Yeah, absolutely.
But now the reception,
Big deal.
oh, that was
Big deal.
our reception, which we were like kind of one of the first ones out of the friend group to get married. You came
carved
in
the
and
way.
closed it, but we started it, and it was like, we gotta go. I mean, they had 2 kegs floated before Casey and I got there.
Oh, Lord.
Now, keep in mind, when we got married, everybody was still young, not married, fresh out of college. They were
It was still
now at his wedding. It was
party
still
time.
a party,
Oh,
but we had
yes,
like
it was.
kids, and kids were people were like checking on kids before they went to bed, and then coming. It was a
That's funny.
yeah, it was a thing. So
Yeah,
had to perform. We had to do the WAP. Like that's our friend group. We always dance to the WAP.
the wedding was such, or
You'd be
the
proud.
reception was such a big
love
deal to us that we went out of our way to have. You listen to hip hop rap radio station on Sunday night. They got the DJ on there. They're mixing music. We paid for that. We had a DJ cut 2.5 hours worth of music that was mixed together, cut, transition, as if he was there.
That's
and
fire.
so I don't know that our DJ really appreciated that from the jump, but definitely once we got there and all he had to do was hit play and he could just chill, he loved it. And
Yeah,
he
there
loved
wasn't a
watching
lot
it.
of going up and requesting stuff because it was probably on the
Oh, no.
playlist.
There were no requests. Once we hit, kind of like, family's starting to leave. It's late.
you know that Tom.
We did a
Play the one.
yeah, fake send off. Once that happened, we came back and it got real.
I want to make sure I said the WAP and not
Yeah, okay.
Cardi B.
Okay.
It just hit
listen,
that you may be thinking we
I
danced
didn't
to
mean
Cardi
to. I didn't
B.
mean to, but for some reason,
J-Dash.
I went there.
J-Dash.
I got you.
As soon as I was
some
sitting here, I was
reason-
thinking, oh, he thinks we were out there with Cardi B, that we had to wait for Grandma to leave before we could dance to
Gosh, dang.
He was like, these white boys is crazy.
Crazy.
Like, how y'all dance to
Party,
that? Yeah, that's embarrassing. I'd say that a lot. I probably should clear that up.
I mean,
J-Dash, WAP.
I don't
Okay.
know, do you really need to clear that up? Because we had.
I mean, now that song played as well, I'm sure.
I
but-
think that song might have actually played, but we don't have a
I'm sure it did.
performance tied to WAP.
Yeah. Jeez.
If we do, it's behind closed doors with our
Yeah, I
wives.
can't even believe when that hit me. I thought Tony's sitting there thinking.
Look, the other one came to me, so I got past it.
He's like, this
But-
is embarrassing that y'all
But
did
out
that
the
in front of the
gate-
family.
Out the gate. That's
Because
right.
you didn't say, oh, that's awesome. Because I was thinking, well, I mean,
He doesn't know.
WAP, like there's a whole dance that you can do to
Yeah,
it.
I know it. After
Right.
after you said it the second time, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Man,
That's dope.
that would have been embarrassing.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I wish I could be in Tony's head right now thinking about me dancing to Cardi B.
I don't
Anyways,
know what. You're like, it's a must. we got,
that song has to play. And they're like looking for me. They're like, where are they at? Where are the guys? This is their jam. Oh, gosh. That's incredible. Oh, I will. Man. Okay. Anyways, continue, Corso. After y'all get through the honeymoon. Yeah, which y'all might have listened to I don't know. Okay, so honeymoon. Where'd y'all go on your honeymoon?
We went to Jamaica.
Jamaican me
Jamaican
crazy.
me crazy. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I think
come back, and it was.
It was fast forward. I don't know. It felt like a week. It wasn't that quick, but I was working away in my office. Door opens and Haley's standing like behind the screen, and she's like, "I just joined a call." She's like, has the pregnancy stick, and she's like, "Hey, pregnant," and lots of profanity in that video because I was in utter shock and just could not believe it. I was like, "You have to be kidding me!"
Like I just joined a call.
And she's like, "No, I'm serious." And I don't know if it's a thing, and I'm
Like work call.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
like,
a,
excuse me, dear? What?
it was a quick timeout. Like face went panic mode because I didn't know what was going on until I actually kind of realized it was a stick. I thought it was
Yeah.
like a thermometer or something. She was sick. Definitely not. And so I
Don't
just
put
was
that
like,
in your mouth.
it's like, "Hey, I will be right back. You need to hang on. Actually, let's just hang up and I'll call you back or we'll figure it out." And luckily it was just like a
I'm feeling
one-on-one.
sick. I need to go. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so we timed down and celebrated. I mean, it was was a lot in that moment. But
so that moment is really, we all have had that moment. Mm-hmm. If you're watching this and you're a dad, like, you've had that moment. And some of us are in different places whenever we have that moment, either mentally, like physically, spiritually, all of these things. Like, we're just getting different mindsets. What was kind of your mindset whenever that happened? Like, are you thinking, this is a good thing, or, well, we just got married. Like, I don't want to lose that. Like, there goes the honeymoon.
No, it was honestly, it was lots of excitement. I loved that moment. I loved the kind of overwhelm of all the emotion of joy, shock, because we were trying, but we weren't. Yeah, not trying. But
I love when people say we not trying. I'm
just one of those things. And it was great because we had lots of conversations and talks well before we got married that we wanted to have kids. I'm the oldest of 4 with 3 younger siblings, 2 brothers and a sister. She's got just a younger brother. But we kind of had a goal in mind of 2. And once we got there, if that's all we had, great. If not, let's keep going. So that was the start of that journey of building our family and what we set out to do and accomplish. And being the oldest of 4, also having 4 younger cousins growing up, I was the de facto babysitter, or, over the summer, cousins would show up and be there for the summer, and parents go to work, and I'm running the freaking daycare at the house. And so I went into it with a lot of confidence. Hindsight is I was probably a little too cocky, or a lot cocky, but I was very, very confident, very pumped, very excited, very happy.
Well, and Haley's also how much younger?
9 years.
So she's also kind of in that stage where they're both facing it from different areas. He's older. I mean, I'm saying older, but like he's set up in his, he's mid-30s, no. But he's kind of in that I'm at that stage of life, right? And she's obviously at that stage, but she's younger. So they're coming at it from, he's feeling very confident because he's got family and he's taking care of brothers and sisters, whereas she's kind of like we all were, out of college.
Never been around babies.
Never really been around kids. Not even really sure what to expect.
Change a diaper, make a bottle, get spit up on. Check, 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 check. For me, for her, it was a wealth of unknown of what was ahead of her and us. And so that also gave me a little bit more confidence because I could now be the person to lean on and help her get over that and go through the first experience of those things with her and our first child. Kind of taps into my baseball background of being a coach. Like, I like those aspects of being able to coach and those moments where you figure things out together, whether
Absolutely.
that's at work, at home, with friends. There's a unique bond that's created first time for everything.
Yeah. So first, how was pregnancy for y'all? First pregnancy, was it, I know that as guys, we don't have a lot that we're dealing with, obviously, but like getting ready for it, was there, excitement? Was it more, it went by super fast? Did it drag on? What were your thoughts through the whole pregnancy?
It went really fast. Probably not so much for her, and I'll probably never hear the end of this, but she was pregnant and in the final stages of her pregnancy throughout the summer months where it's 112 degrees. Oh, yeah. Not fun. And God bless her. I don't know how they do it, but they figure it out. But it just felt like it went by really fast. I don't know if that was just a combination of everything going on, work, the anticipation, excitement. And she had, I think, kind of a rough, really good start, rough middle. And then by the end of it, it was kind of like, all right,
let's go.
When is this baby coming?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great.
Yeah. We, when they told us, I knew it. He FaceTimed me. We talk daily, weekly. Yeah. So, but we don't FaceTime a lot. So I'm looking at my phone. I was outside splitting wood. I remember that because I remember looking down, and normally if I'm doing something like that, I'll call you back here in a little bit. But I saw the FaceTime. Pop that screen open. He's sitting there, got a pacifier hanging out of his mouth, and I'm like, yeah! It was just like going nuts. So it was really cool to to get that call because, like I said, he was the last one getting married, and so but it was marriage, and then boom, now he's getting a kid. So it was awesome to see. That's
really cool.
Now she's getting ready to deliver, and then first daughter, was it beginning when you're thrust into fatherhood? Was it what you thought it was going to be? Was it more of I got this? Was it hard? Kind of what are you thinking once baby number one is here?
Yeah, so first and foremost, the operating room or the delivery room. Sorry, it's not operating room, delivery room. I mean, I guess it could be an OR, but utter chaos. Like, no one will prepare you for what that moment is like. I mean, I literally felt like they were throwing our daughter around like a rag doll. I mean, as soon as baby comes out, it's off and gone. And they're rubbing them with towels and paper like you would wash your dog.
Yeah.
Just rough. You're like, oh, whoa, what is going on? And they don't tell you that they're going to do all that. And then while all that's going on, you get handed if you wish, you get handed the scissors to clip the umbilical cord, and you're trying to bob and weave and get up and, make it happen to go cut it, and it's squishy. So it doesn't cut. Or at least for me, it didn't cut right away. Anyway, super, super chaotic, weird.
Oh, yeah. Weird, yeah.
Yeah, and nothing would have ever prepared me for that moment. And you realize how amazingly tough women are.
Resilient. Yeah.
Dude, so
our
story was like scary because Case she pushed for hours, and the doctor was like, I think he's too big. He's just not. It's not going to happen. So we're going to take you back. But they couldn't get. So when you get an epidural, you're numb from the waist down. But when you go when they take you back, they want to make sure, I don't know, like you're completely numb. Like it's more, you get more, I guess what it called. Well, they give me all the scrubs and everything. I'm in a hallway, and the guy said, we're having a hard time getting your wife's right side numb. If we can't, we're going to have to put her under, or something. We're going to have to basically put her under to get the baby out. If not, we'll come get you for the C-section. And I said, well, how am I going to know if you're coming back or not? And the nurse looked at me and goes, you won't, and walked off.
Dude, it is.
So I'm standing there in the hallway going, I'm waiting for a baby to cry, because I'm thinking that's the only way I'm going to know. Because I'm from me to you from the door, but I'm waiting on them. And then finally the door opens. They said, all right, you can come on back. And I go in there, and of course, Casey's exhausted, laid out. They've got her strapped down. And I'm thinking, do we have to do all this? I don't think she's going to get up. I don't think she's going anywhere. She can't feel her extremities. I don't think you have to strap her arms down. She's not trying to fight y'all right now. But yeah, like you said, it's they don't tell you about it. And so when you're in there, and if you're not, I'm not used to that scene.
No.
I'm not used to.
It's a different scene.
You see things that you're, like you said, first off, I could never. There's a reason God chose women. Like there is nothing a part of me that thinks I could even remotely get close to that. But then when you see like the doctors and doing everything, and they do it every day, so it's just cut. Let's start pulling. Let's start doing all this. I'm saying like, man, y'all better give me a chair.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I think it's funny that we landed here, because this is a part that new fathers that even old fathers, like, we don't think about this at all. I've had 3. Well, not me. I've been a part of 3, and then we had our 4th, and Tiffany's 3rd, and it's every time it's a shock. Every single time it's the same shock. I forget about the type of like being in the room. Like there's a lot of back and forth in the room. So after the baby is born, and now you're in the room, and you're trying to stay up with her. She's kind of tired. You're trying to help her get some rest. The baby's up. At night, they're like just coming in. They kind of just
they tell you to get some sleep, but they're in there every 30 minutes.
Every 30 minutes. There's a lot of stuff. Standing outside of the operating room, that moment right there, where you're all alone, is a crazy moment. Where it's just the world. Like the world is about to give you you.
It's like when you see in the movies when the person's standing there and everything around them is like going at blistering speed, and that person's just kind of like moving slow. That's kind of what it felt like, because you're sitting there going, in just a matter of moments, life is changing very drastically.
It's crazy.
And then like the miracle of birth in itself, and I mean, if you can't believe there's a God, watch a birth.
Yeah.
Like the fact that, it's incredible. So anyways, yeah, you're in there. they're taking her all over the place, and then obviously you get back to the room and you get no sleep and you're ready to go.
No sleep, which becomes a common theme throughout all of this. But I think it just gets off. It's an expected start to parenthood, at least for the dads, because women deserve all the nice accommodations at our hospital. They got free meals, free food. They got pops. Like, they got what they wanted. For us dads,
that bed.
I might as well have slept on a gravel floor every single night. And to your point, they come in every 20 minutes and disturb your sleep, which I guess is going to happen anyway, because child needs to eat or wake up, and you need to start training your body and plan for that, whether you like it or not, or you're prepared or not.
Yep. You're like, just one more night of rest.
Yeah.
And it's tough, right? They give you the option too of, hey, tonight we can take the baby to the nursery, let you guys have a good night's rest. The first time around, it's kind of like very uncomfortable, and we got through first night with our daughter, and then second night, like, okay, we're gonna go back home likely tomorrow. Just take her off, and we were forever grateful we did. And the second time around, I know we're not there yet, but it was an immediately, yep, both nights.
They're like, we'll be back in a couple weeks if you don't mind. Get her past that.
Yeah, it's funny how quick that changes.
Yeah. So get home. Kind of just walk us through first 6-8 months with first daughter, and kind of what you're expecting, but then also kind of how it was. Because I know you've talked about how you said it earlier about you were kind of overconfident and and kind of how it was.
Well, world works in mysterious ways, and that cockiness and confidence got tested from the get-go, because we go to leave the hospital. We've got our oldest in the Duna. You guys know what that is? Mm-hmm. The collapsible transformer.
I know what it is.
I have one.
Well, guess what? I was that new dad on the curbside trying to figure out how to collapse it.
We were too.
And I was in utter panic, because you kind of have to tip it pretty far for it to fold down. And so I'm like, what if she falls out? Like, there's people watching, there's people around, there's people coming in the hospital, and I'm just like, the vision of my daughter falling out, and just started to panic. And I was that guy that my wife and everybody else still gives me grief about, because it was embarrassing. But at that moment, right, that kind of started a trend that I necessarily didn't pay attention to throughout time, but it was tested from the very beginning. And plus, our oldest, both girls ended up having colic, but our oldest had colic for 4 months, every bit of 4 months, if not 4.5 from day one.
Which neither one of our kids have had it, so kind of just brief, like, what
is... Yeah, and it was severe, based on doctors' feedback, just talking to people who know what colic is, and then hearing us describe what it is. So I'm no doctor, I don't know all the medical definition, but the way it worked out for our daughters is there was like a maturity to the digestive system that just didn't connect. And so anytime their stomach hurt, which for a new baby is all the time, right? Gas, burp, throw up, spit up, poop, like whatever, their response is they don't know how to handle that, right? They haven't learned how to push it, pass it, deal with it. And so they scream uncontrollably. And it's that shrill, panic, hurt, red-faced cry that just does not stop. I'd never been around that before. I knew of that. Like, my in-laws joked all the time that Haley had colic as a baby, and her dad and mom joke about passing Haley around the friend group, bouncing her, rocking her, and
so it's Haley's fault.
Yeah, it's definitely her fault.
Gosh.
She'll laugh. But yeah, and our doctor told us there's nothing you can do. Yeah. There's no cure for colic. So when you hear that from a doctor and you've already dealt with that for a period of time, there's nothing you can do. And it's not just stressful to hear that and experience it, but to also know you can't do anything about it. And they're in pain, they're in discomfort. It's tough, right? You're stuck in a moment of helplessness. That's high stress, because over time, the more that happens, it does trigger, like I have done my research and was trying to do my research throughout all this, to where your body goes through, a fight or flight response to that. And I mean, we're humans. It's from our very roots as human beings. It's that way on purpose, right? Yeah. Because it is a call from the child that they need something. And so, but the problem is when you live cynically over and over and over in that environment, your body now starts to never, separate flight or fight. You're just always in high stress. You just denormalize, and
you're also working from home.
Yeah,
so there's no decompression.
Yeah, I got
no reprieve.
No, I had a few weeks off, but worked a high stakes, high growth, awesome period of time that, you weren't at work, you're not making money, and there's risk to paycheck and life, which I love. I love to work hard. I love sales. I love what I do, and so that was also a little bit of a risk if, I took the full leave that they provided versus breaking it up. Like, business is going to take a hit, and I didn't want to do that. But I did get some time, whereas Haley she's very fortunate. She got four full months of maternity leave, and then got to exercise a little bit of PTO. And so, she was at home with our daughter all day long, dealing with that, having to change diapers, try to sleep in between. And I'm on the other side, tucked away in the office in the house on Zoom calls and phone calls. And I work West Coast. Well, I had Central and West, so my day started typically 7:30ish. I was getting phone calls from people, taking calls, scheduled calls, and ending, 7:30 Central time, because that's 5:30 PST. And then oftentimes we had data teams we worked with that were in India or China. And so my schedule basically spanned the whole day. Yeah. And that was tough because, I think one of the points on one of the other podcasts or the questions you fielded, my thought was to, suppress my frustration, exhaustion, stress from work. I've been working all day. She's been doing her job with our daughter. I've heard it over my calls. I hear the screaming. I hear the crying. I hear the consistency. I haven't done my part to go help because I've been busy all day working my butt off. She needs a relief. And so there's no break in between work and going into that environment, because I immediately opened the door and went into dad mode. How can I help? How can I be there? Let me take her. You go shower. You go for a walk. You go take a nap, which we'll get into solutions and awareness and stuff later. But don't do that.
And that's tough because you don't get, even just going to work. A lot of times guys can get the decompression from the stresses of work on the drive home, knowing even though you're walking into a colic situation, you get that 20, 30, however long your drive is to prepare yourself mentally. But when you walk out of the office,
it's just right there.
But you've heard it all day, you walk out of the office, you're immediately into it. You can only take so much of that to where you're not getting the break. And even a date night here and there is not going to really solve, that.
Well, and you said it's high stress. There's a lot of frustration. Even if it doesn't come out as verbal frustration, there is a mental, there's a battle happening.
Yep.
Mentally, internally, and just like what you said, that fight or flight doesn't even have to manifest physically. It's happening mentally, And I can just imagine that it's tough on you. It's especially in like a situation with your wife, and you know that it's tough on her, and she knows that it's tough on you.
Yep.
And y'all are having to figure it out, and you know it's tough on the child. Like, what are the effects that it could have long term? So these are the thoughts that are coming into my mind. And how do you deal with some of those things like that, and navigate those stresses?
Yeah, and I will say one thing about colic, or one recommendation just from an awareness perspective. Just because there's no cure doesn't mean there aren't things and ways to help ease or alleviate some of the symptoms, or at least the frequency of it. And I would encourage everybody, try it all. Literally go try it all. Whether it's a recommendation on different formula, whether it's using a warm baby wipe versus a cold one, like do everything. Movement, safely put them in a car seat or something secure next to a dryer, something like that, to where that kind of white noise rocks them, moves them, anything, because it helps. I even got to the point where there were a few days I wore Dr. Dre Beats headphones, just because I was so done. Like internally and subconsciously, it eroded my ability to just sit there and hear it. But I think when you think of how do you handle that, you don't want to sit there with headphones on all the time, because you think something could go really, really, really wrong, and you're not going to hear it. But I think it's really important to have a spouse and a partner that really, really has your best interest. Not, I mean, that's why you get married, but really looks out and understands you and your well-being, and what works, what clicks, how to maneuver those situations even when time gets tough, because that will all blend together. And if one of you or both of you don't have the ability to have that awareness and see all the caution signs and stop signs, and they're hitting you in the face and you're not stopping, like, that's combustible energy.
Does it turn into that, because couples argue sometimes, they have fights, like there's little things that happen. Does that amplify that?
Absolutely.
Does it amplify it to the point to where now we have to figure out a way to come down from this position?
Well, then there's no break, because now you're stressed from job, from fatherhood, and then you take it out on each other. Like, and I'm speaking just on
disrupted
going
sleep,
through it, talking with you about it, and then there's no avenue of your life that doesn't seem like it's stressful or going right. And so walk us through. So she has colic. So she kind of up to the point where, with your work and with Haley, y'all decide, she's kind of coming down from the colic, not coming down, but she's working past it. And then y'all find out that you're pregnant again. So we hate to do it. Actually, we don't hate to do it. I'm glad to do it.
I'm happy to do it.
To see the rest of this interview, you're gonna have to tune in next week. We broke this one into 2 parts. Too much to cover in one sit down. So we're excited to bring you back again next week to see the rest of our interview with Derrick.